You had a plan tonight, didn't you? After work, you are going to finally start that thing you've been thinking about for months, maybe even years. You know exactly what I'm talking about. That project, that idea, that dream you keep carrying around in the back of your mind. You were going to write or create or build or learn something new. Tonight was supposed to be the night. And then 5 o'clock came, and you sat in your car or stepped onto the train or walked through your front door, and you felt it settle over you like a heavy blanket. That exhaustion that goes deeper than your muscles and sits somewhere behind your eyes. You made it home and sat down on your couch or at your desk, and the dream you were going to pursue is still there, waiting for you like it always does. But you're too tired to reach for it, not too tired to watch something on a screen or scroll through your phone or simply exist in that half-awake state where nothing happens. Just too tired to create anything, too tired to try anything, too tired for your dreams. So you tell yourself the same thing you told yourself yesterday and the day before that. Tomorrow, you say, tomorrow I'll have more energy. But when tomorrow comes, you'll be exactly this tired again, won't you? This is what I call the reserved life, where your energy is already spoken for before you even open your eyes in the morning. Your dreams are waiting in a room you never seem to find the time or strength to enter. Let me show you why this keeps happening and what it actually means. There's an old story about a man who loved a particular restaurant in his neighborhood. Every single week, without fail, he would make a reservation for Friday night at 7 o'clock, and they would hold his usual table for him. One week, a close friend invited him to try a different restaurant, a place the man had always wanted to visit but never had. His friend said to join them on Friday that he would absolutely love it. The man thought about the invitation and realized he genuinely wanted to go. But then he remembered that he already had a reservation at his usual place. He told his friend he couldn't make it because he was reserved for Friday night. His friend laughed and said it was simple, just cancel the reservation. And in that moment, the man realized something strange had happened over the years. He couldn't actually remember making that weekly reservation in the first place. He couldn't remember consciously choosing Friday as his night. He couldn't even remember the last time he truly enjoyed eating at that restaurant. But he went anyway, week after week, because the table was reserved and breaking a reservation felt wrong somehow. Your energy works exactly like that reservation. Every morning, before you even open your eyes, your energy has already been reserved by your job, by your responsibilities, by the life you've constructed around work. 8 hours of your day are spoken for, sometimes 10 hours, sometimes 12. All of it is reserved for work. And by the time you're finally free, by the time that reservation is over and you can theoretically do whatever you want, there's almost nothing left of you. The dreams you have, the things you actually want to create or become, those are like the restaurant you always wanted to visit, but you never make it there because you're already reserved somewhere else. Here's exactly how that reservation happens. Without you even noticing, you wake up at 6 or 7 in the morning, and within minutes your brain is already at work even though your body is still at home. You're not physically there yet, but mentally you've already arrived. You're thinking about the meeting that's scheduled for 10, the deadline approaching on Wednesday, the email you absolutely need to send before 9, the problem you're supposed to solve before the day ends. Your energy starts flowing toward work before you've eaten breakfast or had your coffee or even left your house. By the time you physically arrive at your workplace, you're not fresh anymore. You've already partially depleted yourself just thinking about what's ahead. Then you work for 8 straight hours, sometimes more than that. You make hundreds of small decisions throughout the day. You solve problems that require your focused attention. You manage your emotions carefully around colleagues and clients. You navigate the complex social dynamics of your workplace while trying to appear competent and professional. Every single decision you make throughout the day costs you energy. Every problem you solve depletes your mental reserves a little bit more. Every emotion you carefully manage drains something from you. Scientists have a name for this phenomenon. They call it ego depletion. Your willpower is not some infinite resource that magically replenishes itself. Your ability to make good decisions has limits. Your mental energy is fundamentally finite, like a battery that can only hold so much charge. And work drains that battery all day long. By the time 5 o'clock arrives and you're theoretically free to pursue your own interests, you're not operating at 100% capacity anymore. You're running at maybe 20%, possibly 30% if you had a particularly good day. And that's when you're supposed to pursue your dreams and build the life you actually want, with 20% battery remaining, while your job got the full 100% of your charged energy. But here's what most people don't understand about this exhaustion they feel every evening. There are actually different kinds of tired, and they don't all work the same way. Physical tired is when your body is exhausted, when your muscles ache, and you need sleep to recover. You can often push through physical tiredness when you need to, because humans are surprisingly resilient that way. Mental tired is when your brain feels foggy and you can't focus clearly anymore, and thinking becomes harder than it should be. Coffee can mask mental tiredness for a while, at least temporarily. But there's a third kind of tired that goes deeper than both of these. Some people call it soul tired, and it's completely different from the other two. Soul tired is what happens when you spend all day being someone you're not. When you've performed a version of yourself for 8 or 10 hours straight. When you've carefully managed your facial expressions and held your tongue when you wanted to speak and pretended to care deeply about things that don't actually matter to you at all. Soul tired is what the reserved life creates in you. It's what happens when your energy gets allocated to someone else's priorities day after day after day. It's what you feel when your real self, the one who has dreams and desires and creative impulses, never gets a turn to exist. That's the tiredness you're feeling when you come home at night. It's not located in your muscles or even really in your brain. It lives in the part of you that knows somewhere deep down that you're living the wrong life. And here's the devastating thing about soul tired. No amount of sleep can fix it. You can sleep for 10 hours and wake up rested physically, but you'll still feel that deep exhaustion because the moment you open your eyes, you're going to reserve yourself all over again. You'll give everything to work, and your real self will go back into that room where it waits. Now, here's something people don't like to talk about, but it's absolutely true. Your dreams don't actually cost less energy than your job does. They cost more, much more, because you can do your job while being half present, half alive, half committed to what you're doing. You can coast through most meetings without anyone noticing. You can go through the motions of your tasks. You can perform adequately, and for most jobs, adequate is completely sufficient. But dreams don't work that way. You cannot half-ass your dreams. You cannot be half present when you're trying to create something that actually matters to you. You cannot go through the motions when you're attempting to build the life you genuinely want to live. Dreams require your full self to show up. They need you complete, present, energized, and fully committed. And that's the fundamental problem you're facing every single evening. By the time you're free from work, you don't have a full self to give anymore. You have that 20% that work didn't consume. You have the leftover version of yourself. And your dreams look at that 20%, and on some level they understand what's happening. They know they're only getting your scraps. They know they're receiving the tired you, the depleted you, the barely functioning version of you that has nothing substantial left to offer. And dreams simply cannot grow on scraps. They can't develop on the leftovers of your energy. So they do the only thing they can do. They wait, year after year. They sit in that room and wait patiently for a version of you that never actually shows up, because that version already gave everything it had to work before you even made it home. Let's do some simple math together. Think about your age right now. You're 30 or 40 or 50 or somewhere in that range. How many years have you been telling yourself tomorrow when it comes to your dreams? Has it been 5 years of promising yourself you'd start next week? 10 years of coming home too tired to begin? 20 years of pushing your real desires into an ever-receding future? Let's say it's been 10 years for the sake of this calculation. That's 10 years of coming home exhausted every single evening. 10 years of promising yourself that next week would be different. 10 years of dreams waiting patiently in that room you never seem to enter. What happened to those dreams during that decade? Some of them simply died. You don't even think about them anymore. Some of them shrank down and became smaller and more realistic and lost their original power. Some of them curdled and turned bitter and transformed into regrets that you carry around. But here's what none of them became during those 10 years. They never became real. Because making dreams real requires energy, and your energy was reserved for something else. Every single day for 10 years, you had a choice in front of you. Give your best energy to work and your leftovers to dreams, or find some other way to live. And every single day for 10 years, you made the same choice. Not because you're weak-willed, Not because you don't care about your dreams, but because the reservation was already made before you woke up. Before you even opened your eyes, the day was already allocated. Work gets 100% of your energy. Dreams get whatever happens to be left over. And what's left over is never, ever enough to build anything real. There's a Zen teaching about a monk who never seemed to do anything productive. The other monks in the monastery would meditate for hours, but he would just sit. The other monks would study ancient texts, but he would just sit. The other monks would work in the gardens and kitchens, but he would just sit there doing apparently nothing. Finally, the abbot approached him and asked why he refused to do anything useful with his time. The monk looked up calmly and said that he wasn't doing nothing at all. He said he was refusing to be allocated. The abbot didn't understand what that meant, so the monk explained his reasoning. He said that every task the abbot gave him would allocate his energy toward that task. Every responsibility would reserve his time for that responsibility. Every expectation placed upon him would place a claim on his life and his attention. If he said yes to everything, if he accepted every allocation, he would become nothing but a collection of other people's claims on him. He would become nothing but reservations. So instead, he chose to sit, and in sitting, he remained unreserved. He remained his own. You need to understand something important about yourself. You're not lazy, you're not undisciplined, you're not failing your dreams because of some moral weakness in your character. You're simply completely allocated. 100% of you is reserved for a life that isn't actually yours. And when you're fully allocated like this, when every ounce of your energy is spoken for, before the day even begins, there's simply no room for anything unreserved. There's no space for dreams because dreams only happen in unreserved moments. Dreams need the part of you that belongs to you, not the part that's been rented out to someone else. And right now, you don't have any unreserved moments. You don't have any energy that's actually yours to spend however you choose. Tonight when you get home, you're going to feel it again, that deep tiredness that settles into your bones and makes everything feel heavy. But now, you'll know what it actually is. It's not weakness in your character. It's not the inevitable result of aging. It's not laziness or lack of discipline. It's allocation. It's the natural consequence of giving 100% of yourself to your reservation and having nothing left for the walk-in customers of your life. Your dreams are those walk-ins. They're what you would do if you weren't already completely reserved. They're who you would become if your energy actually belonged to you. So here's the only question that really matters when you think about your life. When was the last time you had a truly unreserved moment? Not a leftover moment where you tried to do something with whatever scraps of energy remained. Not a depleted moment where you forced yourself to work on your dreams with 20% battery, but a genuinely unreserved moment where your energy wasn't already spoken for, where you showed up full and complete and present, where you were entirely yours. Can you even remember the last time that happened? Tomorrow morning, before you reserve yourself again, before you allocate everything to work, before you give it all away to someone else's priorities, I want you to ask yourself one simple question. What would I do with one unreserved hour? Not what would be practical or productive or responsible, but what would you actually do if you had 1 hour where your energy completely belonged to you? If you could show up full instead of depleted, what would you reach for? What would you create? Who would you become in that unreserved space? Sit with that question. Don't rush to answer it. Don't immediately jump to practical considerations or reasons why it's impossible. Just sit with the question itself and notice what rises up in you when you imagine having energy that's actually yours. Because the reserved life isn't the only possible life. It's not some inevitable fate that you're powerless to change. It's simply the life you keep choosing day after day, morning after morning. You keep making that reservation. You keep allocating everything to work. You keep giving it all away before you even leave your house, until one day, maybe, you don't.